Hey everyone, and welcome to RadarPlays new releases. We're jumping into Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. We're gonna skip through cutscenes though, because let's be honest, you don't want to sit here and watch 20 minutes of cutscenes. And if you do, you just buy the game. So I'm Hollander Cooper. Here with me is
Ryan Telgenik
and
Henry Gilbert.
And so what's the bare necessary context of what's going on, and who is that?
All right, so we're in the sewers in Mexico right now. This is pretty early on in the game. Ryan's had his pretty nasty encounter with Desperado Enforcement, which is the enemy villain faction of private military companies in the game. Basically, you're trying to figure out. This is Blade Wolf. He's one of the first.
I love Blade Wolf.
And then he kind of joins your team afterward. Right now, this is Kevin. We're having a nice little chat with Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
He knows the history of things, right? He's not a strategy expert. He just has background info.
Right. And Blade Wolf, the little dog in front of us, he kind of just serves as like a scout. He'll run ahead and give you important information.
So if I'm not wrong, you have a different, that's not the normal Raiden skin, right?
It's not. So you get a lot of points by doing well in battles and stuff, and you can use those points to unlock a ton of different things, including new costumes. This is one of the costumes you can get. I just think it looked really sweet because it's all red and black.
Has like a digital thing on his sword.
Well, it wouldn't be Metal Gear without a long Codex conversation.
Yeah, no, it's one of the things that I think a lot of the Metal Gear fans will be really pleased to see is that there are tons and tons of nods to the Metal Gear series. Even though this is an action game, it still feels like a Metal Gear game, which is really, really
cool. It feels like a Metal Gear game until, whoa, what?
Wait a minute.
What?
Oh, I'm going to hide in a barrel.
What?
You can make a hologram barrel appear around you?
It's not a hologram. It's literally a barrel I'm carrying.
Really?
What could this be? Oh, these guys are nasty.
Well,
so,
you better stab them to death.
Okay, so the blade mode.
Slice them up.
Blade mode in this game is super, super fun to use. But for the most part, enemies require that you not get hit by that.
Do you have to? I think I'm seeing you have to slice that guy up sideways.
So the thing about blade mode is you can only. Oh my God, this camera's going all over the place. So those attacks, when they blink red, are telegraphed ones that you can block. When they blink yellow, that means it's not blocked. See, I just parried it there. And when they start turning blue, that means you can use blade mode to slice that limb off. So, like, this is not an attack I can dodge, what he's about to do here. And I did not.
Oh, no! Oh! Raiden's pretty face!
Man. Well, his face gets pretty screwed up in there.
Wow!
Good old Blade mode.
My goodness.
That was awesome. Oh, and his leg now, too?
Oh, now you want your legs chopped off? All right.
Oh, my. And his arm, too. You're getting his other arm. What
now?
What happens?
What in the proper hell just happened?
So some enemies, if you chop them in the correct places, you can get additional points for power-up things that they drop. And so you can see the battle points that I just got. Those are what you use to buy new gear. Now, you can also cut anything. If you activate your augment mode, which is this, anything that shows up blue in the environment, like this barrel, means you can slice it up.
Well, slice up that box.
Yeah, why are you not slicing up those boxes?
Now, you will also notice you get parts on the side. Those are essentially battle points as well. They also contribute to
Do you start the game with that weapon, or did you just earn that weapon?
I earned that weapon.
Let's see.
I will, oh, check this out. Stealth kill!
Yeah!
Oh, and then you can do this. And as you can see, I can line up the angle however I want.
Wow, and you just got an achievement. I mean,
hey, cool. How about that?
So, question about the combat. When they showed it off at conventions before, there was a point where if you sliced stuff too much, the game would freeze.
No,
Did you ever run into that issue?
No issues.
I remembered hearing early on that they were having problems with that, like deciding how many slashes until things stopped fragmenting.
When we saw it about 6 months ago, there was still that problem.
If I line up this angle with this red thing and slice through it, hit circle, he rips it out, replenishes his health and blade mode meter.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's super sweet.
And
pulling those off, and pulling that stuff off also gives you a bunch of extra points too.
So do you need to know a lot about Metal Gear to play this?
No, not at all. Actually, I mean, it is a direct sequel to, or a sequel to 4, Metal Gear Solid 4, but I mean, the plot is so loosely related that it's not really that important.
Are there any cameos from characters people would expect to find, Snake or anything? Without spoiling,
there's a couple cameos. I don't want to ruin them because they're awesome when they happen. So now this weapon here is when you beat some of the major villains in the game, you unlock their weapons to use as a secondary weapon for yourself. Again, I don't want to spoil any of the fights or anything like that, but that is one of the weapons you will get. And you fight a lot of these little gecko guys.
I love how when they're making this game, they're just like, good news, we don't have to make any of our own sound effects. We have we just got sent a terabyte of rings, and we're good now. We're solid. We got everything we need.
Yeah, again, that kind of, I want to skip past this because this could be a little bit of a spoiler
Boom,
type thing.
skipped, we did it. Ain't no one gonna stop us. Now you can just cut up, guys.
Now, one of the things that you should know about this compared to other action games like DMC or Bayonetta, I mean, obviously in those games, whoa, stop that. There we go. In those games, combo variety plays a huge role, right? But in Revengeance, it's not so much about combo variety as it is just ridiculous flash in action. And it's just so fun that it never becomes boring. There is the regular combos that I'm doing do kind of lack in variety, and even though they look sweet right now, you'll really get to be like, man, I kind of wish there were a couple more.
Yeah, it seems more about cinematic.
It is
stuff.
But I mean, I feel like the ability to chop things up in any direction is never going to get old.
No, it does not. I never once felt like, man, sure wish this would be more exciting because it's just nonstop. This is as tame as it gets.
Doing that just seems like I'm never going to get bored of that.
Especially when there's always going to be a red square that you can try to aim for.
This is one of my favorite things. I can do a slide attack, activate blade mode, and while I'm still sliding, just slice the crap out of that thing.
Wow.
Oh, that was awesome.
Platinum went all out.
Yeah.
It essentially looks to me like Vanquish with a sword.
Yeah, that's really what it feels like, too, when you're playing it.
Yeah, it definitely reminded, when I played it first, I thought it was more like Bayonetta than Vanquish, but now I think it's much more Vanquish. Wow. You launch it and then slice it
up.
So
we're skipping cutscenes, but how long are the cutscenes on average, would you say?
Oh, man, they vary all over the place. A couple of them are just a few minutes long, and then there are others that are good 20, 30 minutes. It feels so much like a Metal Gear game. I'm going to skip this again. Don't want to spoil any story stuff for anybody.
But the cutscenes I saw look great.
Oh, yeah, they're really flashy and fun. And I'm also going to skip through this because I don't want to ruin this for anybody. But the story actually is easy. It's pretty easy to follow in this game, which is a nice welcome change.
Mm-hmm. Is it good though?
Yeah, it's not bad at all. It gets pretty dark too. They go places that I did not expect them to.
Do you get a lot of revenge and vengeance?
Oh, there's plenty of it to go around.
Is there enough of it to have justified putting both in the title?
Yes, okay. I think so. And you get to explore a bit of Raiden's character too. There's some really cool nods to his past and.
Well, they totally RoboCop you in the beginning, right?
Oh yeah.
Sam tears you apart. And you've got to.
Oh, I messed up.
Oh wow.
I can slice that. Yeah, I can slice the things that they stand on.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that's why while trying to attack him, that the whole thing collapsed.
Yeah. So here's the thing. What I was trying to say is where most of the action games that we've played up until now are built around varying up your combos. The depth of this game comes at really nailing its parrying system because that's how you're going to survive early on. Right now I've got a bunch of health and armor upgrades and stuff, but man, early on this game is really tough. And you have to get used to the parrying system if you're going to survive.
I had trouble with that at first when I played demos of it.
It's problematic because to parry you have to hit up on the directional stick and your normal attack at the same time, and a lot of the times
that just doesn't feel natural to me.
Yeah, a lot of the times you'll try and pull it off, and you'll swear you nailed the control scheme right, and then you'll still just get smoked. That's what got
Do
us.
a slide thing and cut off arms. Yeah!
You're cutting both arms at once on two different dudes.
Yeah. This game gets really ridiculous.
Oh, it's headlock.
And the boss fights, one of the problems I had with the bosses in general is that, in a regular Metal Gear game, you've got tons of build-up before you ever fight a boss. You see them dozens of times, and they're doing really cool stuff.
They're hunting you through a level, or you're hunting them through a level or something.
And, but in this one, it's kind of just hey, this is a new boss character that you're meeting for the first time. Now you're going to fight them to the death.
Sounds sort of like a No More Heroes style, where it's just sometimes it's just you get to the end of the level and he's like, hi, I'm the guy in charge, let's fight.
Yeah, and I kind of really missed that build-up. It felt like there could have been a lot of cool parts where there could have been some cool character development kind of stuff.
Ooh, you get dizzy.
Oh, yeah, I'm not doing so hot.
I love that your VR even shows it as like spinning stars around your head.
If I quickly equip my... Oh, I have no repair. These are essentially rations, but I have none, so that's not good news. Hopefully I can chop up his legs a little. Ooh. All right, if I don't parry an attack here soon, I'm going to bite the bullet, as they say. Oh, boy.
Well, I guess that's snap. No? Okay.
Oh, and this is just normal mode, too. Like this.
Cut off that arm.
Parry. I did it. Yeah. Yeah, this game is not easy by any means.
Oof.
Oh, man.
Raiden.
They do that, too. It's really, really funny.
So yeah, in the review, you mentioned that it almost sort of feels like a parody game at some points.
Oh yeah,
in a good way though.
Yeah, in a good way. Like there are a lot of times where you'll be doing stuff that are traditional Metal Gear things, and then your characters will be like, that seems a little silly, like your support cast there, and like those nods are really, really fun, and you kind of get a sense for the relationship between Platinum Games and Kojima Productions as well. Which Henry and oh wow, that was kind of weird. Henry and I know from our trip to Japan and talking to both developers that while it is a fun and playful collaboration, sometimes it was a bit stressful.
Yeah, you were mentioning that there was almost like mild resent.
Well, they barely, it was barely beneath the surface. You asked them once of like, so did you guys like having Platinum take your game? And they're like, we hated it. We were super depressed about it. Then
there were some dark days.
Yeah. And then you asked
we fell into a dark hole of depression.
Yeah.
We could not escape.
And then they feel they were like, we were making the best, oh, that's awesome. They were like, we were making the best boss fights ever seen in a Metal Gear game, and then they took our game from us.
Uh-oh, this may not work out if he gets too close to me. Turn around.
That's all right. Well, this time you've only got 2 to contend with.
Yeah.
Well, and then on the opposite side, like Platinum was saying that they felt they didn't appreciate some of like Kojima team's concerns of their work.
Yeah. But
like, let us do our business.
So
you're the one that couldn't make this game, not us.
Yeah.
One of the other minor complaints I had about this game is like the environments. Like, yeah, this looks fine, but it's really empty and bare bones, and that's how most of them are. Like, never do they really feel like there's much substance.
That was actually what Platinum was saying Kojima Productions was complaining about, that the environments weren't up to their standards.
For the most part, they all feel like giant hallways kind of like this, where you're just running through. There's some cool stuff you can cut up just for the hell of it, but there's not much really to do in them.
Well, that's not Platinum's...
Or not even much to see, really.
That's not really Platinum's thing anyway. Like, environments are not their stuff. They're theaters for you to have crazy fights in.
Yeah.
There's a parry.
That said, Bayonetta had some incredible environments.
Yeah.
Vanquish didn't. Vanquish was just a bunch of like, it looked like Cybertron. But keep cutting. Don't stop. Never stop cutting.
I'm trying to need that health, buddy.
To get the health, yeah. Those can be tricky to pull off. Like, what? Okay, so you can control the angle of your slices with the right stick, or you can just, when you're in blade mode, if you're just hitting square and triangle, that slashes horizontally and vertically, respectively. So it's like, you don't have to rely on just flicking the right stick to cut at whatever angle you want. And it makes it nice when you're just trying to slash things into pieces without trying to really pay much attention to the...
I also love you can just like run and slash at the same time. Just like,
oh yeah, it's awesome.
Without stopping for a moment.
And there's all kinds of collectibles in a lot of the levels too. Actually, I'm gonna sneak up on this guy. I remember doing this a bunch of times. But there's all kinds of collectibles in the levels that you can find from, sometimes they're just extra battle points, but other times it's things like, take that mosquito thing.
And then cut.
Yeah.
Bullseye! And that is the original, that is Raiden's voice from the other stuff.
What?
Who saws you?
I don't know what that nonsense is.
Whoa.
Oh.
How'd you know about that?
Because I played this level.
Is that how they hide some secrets in this game?
No, for the most part, they're not too difficult to find.
How would you have found that regularly?
Use augment mode like this.
Oh, you got your Batman mode.
Yep.
Yep. You can cut up those cranes?
Everything.
Yeah, look at that.
Nothing
well,
left.
yeah, this isn't like, originally Metal Gear Rising was sold as cut everything in the game.
Yeah, there was like one of the first demos was like a guy hiding in a house and you like cut the house in half.
Oh man, one of my favorite things too is when you're running around just cutting stuff up. Sometimes you'll find enemies hiding in boxes, and that's like one of those nods back to the.
Oh,
one
yeah.
of those jokey kind of things.
But you need a key card. You can't cut that door open. I mean,
gonna skip this little chat.
that's that evil Russian doctor, right?
No, he's your help.
I don't
helper.
trust Russians.
He's your helper.
Wow, Henry.
And this part's really cool.
You mean in
too.
video games,
Yeah,
right?
video games.
There are we're about to go to a really cool extra little piece too, where you can control one of the dwarf geckos I was fighting earlier to. It's like a little puzzle game kind of thing. It's really neat. I'll show you in a second here. After I murder this man. Now, there are a lot of times where you fight just regular dudes like this. That are cyborgs.
They're cyborgs.
Except there's a lot of times in the game's story where they're like, right, and you know those are actually humans with just cyborg enhancements, right? And he's like, now I'm conflicted and I have to fight my feelings.
And then he just does it anyway.
I have to fight my feelings.
If I can sneak up.
You were the lightning in that storm.
That guy should have
Now
seen
sometimes you
ya.
can chop off their left arms.
And that gets you what level
Well,
up,
there are
right?
specific ones. There are officer versions of each enemy.
Oh,
And if you
okay.
chop off their appendages, you get a huge. They're collectibles that you get a huge boost in battle points for. Also, going to skip this because I don't want anybody to see it.
All right.
Gonna fight these guys.
We got this.
But these basic enemies are so easy to fight because you can blade mode them to death right away. See ya, man.
Cut this guy into like a billion pieces.
All right.
Guy.
Just going at it.
I can't wait until like 2 generations from now when it's like they actually model every part of the
See, like
inside.
he's got, when his arm's glowing green like that, that means he's got a left arm I could have cut off. But I failed because I'm bad at this game.
Oh.
Oh, thank you.
What
for the
you just
snack. Don't worry
that
about
out of
it. I
like
just got,
nothing. Like
Or
in between these jumps. Wait, what's this mode?
it's essentially like a double trigger from DMC.
Oh, a devil trigger, eh? And you got an A rating.
All
That's
right,
good.
I'm a champion.
Congratulations.
Not an S.
All right,
but,
I just want to show this part real quick. No.
this is
talking
a
to
cool call. I'm glad you showed us this.
Kevin and Boris, quit.
Quit it, Kevin and Boris. We're
we
done
go.
with you guys.
This is a cool part. I'm just gonna plug my little cybernetic head into this thing and control it remotely.
That looks like a very it looks like everything from Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, it does.
All of the beasts or beauties.
Ooh, sneaking in stuff.
Now I can shock soldiers, but one of my other favorite things is I can. Hey, let's clap our hands together. That was fun.
That is fun.
I feel like that's as good of a place as any. We'll show this and then pretty much wrap up. So what did you end up giving the game?
I went 4 out of 5.
Awesome. And you can check out the review on GamesRadar.com and be sure to check back every week, several times a week for Radar Plays.